Welcome to the online classes from Dhaka Secondary School, North Karachi campus. Assalamu alaikum students of class 8 in the online class of Social Studies. We are study chapter number 5, Industry, and I'm your teacher, Miss Uzma. Topics of the day are secondary industries, oil and its byproducts, and natural gas. Secondary industries, industry that convert the raw material provided by primary industry into commodities and products for the consumer manufacturing industry. The secondary industry sector includes steel production, automobiles, manufacturing and telecommunication amongst others. This is the key sector that has the potential to change world economics. Evolution of secondary industry. Number 1, in earlier times everything was made by hand. The process was slow and finishing dependent on the skill of the craftsman. Number 2, in the 19th century the use of steam engines became common. Then the manufacturing process became faster. Production capacity of workers increased 20 to 30 times. The quality of goods was more even than the work done by hand. Number 3, 20th century distribution of work. One worker handled in one particular job with the conveyor belt production. Thus, the capacity increased several hundred times. Number 4, the introduction of automated factories meant more machines and robots. A huge factory can be managed by 1 or 2 persons sitting at a desk using electronic equipments and computers. The Watson engine, alternatively known as the Walton and Watt steam engine, was an early steam engine and was one of the driving forces of the Industrial Revolution. James Watt developed the design from 1763 to 1775 with support from Matthew Boulton. Oil and its byproducts. This is the most important industry. Energy is the byproduct of oil. Over half of the energy consumed in the world comes from oil, 45% of which comes from Muslim countries. Although Pakistan has reasonably rich gas reserves, oil has not been found in a quantity big enough to exploit it. The 3 stages of refining crude oil needs to be processed before it can be used. 3 major types of operation are performed to refine the oil into finished products: separation, conversion, and treating. After crude oil is removed from the ground, it is sent to the refinery where different parts of the crude oil are separated into usable petroleum products. These petroleum products include gasoline, distillates such as diesel fuel and heating oil, jet fuel, petrochemical feedstocks, waxes, lubricating oils, and asphalt. It is estimated that currently more than 6,000 products are made from oil and gas. Clothing is just one part of our lives in which oil and gas plays a part. In fact, there are literally thousands of products made from oil and gas, many of which you probably use every day. You can see the products in this picture too. Oil comes from the underground as crude as thick, black, horrible smelling semi-liquid. It is taken by pipeline or tanker to the refinery, a huge industrial complex where it is refined that is spilled into many chemicals of which it is made. Oil goes through a large number of different processes to clean it and break it into parts. First washed with hot water to get rid of the unpleasant sulfur, and then it goes to the distillation tower. Here it is heated to turn it into a gas which rises up the 40-meter tower. Number 2, the way up the tower are trays with holes in them, and on each of which a different part of the oil condenses. Some of the products obtained from oil, and these are only a few of them, are jet fuel, petrol, diesel fuel, kerosene, liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, etc. Besides different fuels, oil is the raw material for cosmetic, food and cloth dyes, plastics and such as Thailand and nylon fertilizers, bitumen for road and roofs and for strengthening tires. Things made from oil are in front of you. Natural gas. Natural gas, as well as being a highly suitable fuel, is also a source of raw material in the refining processes. Fertilizers and plastic can be produced. In many cases, the products of the natural gas are more valuable than the purified gas itself used for fuel or transport. It is also now being used extensively in the transport because it is produced at home in Pakistan, whereas the oil-based fuels, petrol, diesel, kerosene have to be imported and are expensive. Natural gas is also intensively used as base for making fertilizer because Pakistan desperately needs heavier crops to feed its rapidly growing population and to grow heavier crops which from the main exports of the country, especially cotton and fruits. Most Pakistani's land is only moderately fertile and cotton especially is a breed crop. Because it make much of the fertility from the soil. Natural gas come to the surface in places and ignites. Certainly, the Chinese were using naturally occurring gas as early as 1000 BC, carrying it from the fissures where it appeared on the surface of the to the location where it was needed using hollowed bamboo tubes. It was used in ancient China, especially for boiling brine salt water to extract the salt. Like oil, natural gas was created by rotting vegetation deep underground. Often the two are found together, but unfortunately not in Pakistan, which has very large reserves of natural gas, but very little oil at the moment. Natural gas is piped to the refinery where the impurities are removed and it emerges as butane or propane. There are also byproducts of the refining such as plastic but not as many as with oil. Natural gas is a very flexible fuel. It can be piped directly at home for cooking and heating, factories, power stations and industry. This can be bought in most places and can be used for household purposes, especially cooking in the remotest regions where it would be far too expensive to put in a pipeline. Natural gas is very important to Pakistan. Over one third of the supply is used in the power stations. Natural gas is a cheap and convenient domestic fuel in Pakistan. The questions are in front of you. Study them well. Make the pie chart, one of them. You can make that one or this one. Thank you so much.